So how many words did I write in 2024? I finally have an answer. How many words can I write in a year? Well, that's a different question. And I know it might not feel like a different question, but it is a different question. Hello. I don't make goals because I find them to be a little bit difficult. More than a little bit. I find them very difficult. So I have what I would list as expectations that are not goals. So I have expectations like I expect I'll write 48 short stories and share them on nopuddles@wordpress.com for free. There's links in the description box if you want to read my short stories. I expect that I'll manage a YouTube video on a regular basis. Last year and the year before, the aim, I'm saying I don't make goals. The aim was once a month. This year it's every other week, because I think I can hold to that. But it's not a goal in the form of, I don't know if this is just me and my brain being there like, if I don't make it a goal, I haven't failed. But like, it's an expectation. It's the expectation that like, if all goes well, this should happen, right? It's not a goal because I'm not reaching for it. It's just day-to-day business. And I don't know if like I've never worked a corporate job. I've worked other jobs, but I've never worked like a corporate job with like goals. So I don't really know if that's how goals are supposed to work, but it's how it's working for me. And so I don't make goals because I don't achieve them. Because I either get bored partway through, I realise I'll never actually reach the goal, or because the goal is too easy, it's no longer interesting, right? And it's like, there's been big word count goal events that I've participated in over the years, and I never have reached those word counts. I never do, and I'm always quite sad by the end of it and quite demotivated. And I put so much effort into trying to reach and failing to reach those word count goals that I end up really burnt out the next month or the next 2 months. And like, I like to imagine my writing business as I'm the captain of a little boat, right? And it's not a roller coaster. I'm not going for peaks and troughs. I'm not going for highs and lows. I'm hoping for steady sailing. That's the dream of this, is that I'm in my little boat and I'm bobbing along, putting in the effort, making sure the sails are up when they're supposed to be up and down when they're supposed to be down. Rudder, anchor, I don't actually know how to sail. It's just a good metaphor. So I'm the captain of the little boat, and I'm doing all of my work inside the boat to keep us going, right? And I'm hoping for smooth sailing. And then the way that I like to view it is that the people who see and enjoy my work, my books. I know there's not a lot there right now. There's usually more. They're like the sea, and the sea can get deeper beneath you without the boat really doing anything different on the surface. And that's sort of the view I hold on this whole business that I'm running. So I don't aim for these huge goals. I've seen other people do it. More power to them. And if you're the kind of person who loves a big goal, absolutely go for it. I'm not trying to stop you. And also, if you're the kind of person who repeatedly over the years has not been able to achieve your goals, I mean, absolutely watch some like reach out to some, or like take in some advice. There we go. Those are the words I'm actually looking for. Take in some advice from people who also have never been able to achieve their goals. Maybe people like me, maybe people like, I can't think of anyone else. I'm sure they're out there. But I know that there's a lot of shame attached with the goal situation and their inability to reach them. There's a lot of shame in a lot of, to be honest, there's a lot of shame in a lot of the things that I do. Like in the writing community, there's a lot of shame lumped on people who don't outline, and like whether their books can be of good quality construction, like whether the pacing can be good, whether the like overarching story beats can be good, all of that stuff. And I think that it's kind of nonsense to say that it can't be if you don't outline. because I think that's wrong. I have 6 books. I've finished 6 books. I've published 6 books. And so far, people seem to like them. So like, I've had people come back to me and be there like, I really want the next book. Like, I went to Buy Pride event with a table. I had a table where I sold my books at Buy Pride in 2023. And in 2024, someone came up to me and said, is the next IPA book ready yet? And I said, not yet, probably next year, maybe 2026. I will let you know. And they said, okay, I really want it. And that was the whole engagement. I had someone come up to me at MCM EGX in October, this 2024, when I had a table selling my books, and they bought the first pirate book. They walked away, they read the first few pages, they came back and they bought the second pirate book, right? Like, people like my books. You can definitely not outline and still achieve your books. There's a lot of shame also lumped on people who have low description, or like, I don't want to call it like low world building, because I do a lot of effort into the world building. And also I think that sometimes these conversations around world building can get really bogged down in people's personal preferences, just like with the outlining thing. And people start thinking that their preferences are objective truths or objective rules. And the thing is, they're not. But there's a lot of shame lumped into that, into the idea that your world building needs to be on the page or it doesn't count. There's a lot of shame lumped into, I know, I'm really listing this off. There's a lot of shame lumped into the idea of books that are of a certain length, or there's a lot of shame around the idea of having, like, whether you should or shouldn't have smut on the page in your books. And the thing is, none of that fucking matters. Like, I'm not trying to be radical. Maybe I'm trying to be radical. Maybe I'm being radical. I'm definitely not trying to be radical about this. I just think that sometimes we get bogged down in all of these opinions about how writing should happen. And we forget that the actuality of it, the goal here is just to make the best stories we can make. And however that happens, that's the point. The point is to write a good story, not to be the perfect person or do it a certain way. I don't know. Either way, there's a lot of shame lumped into the way that I like to do things. And there always has been, ever since I was a child. That's what you get for being non-binary, dyslexic, and as it turns out, also physically disabled. Nobody guessed that. Well, I guessed that, but nobody else seemed to understand. It's a common thing with what I have. It's just like, yeah. Anyway, the point is that I know that there is also a lot of shame lumped into people who fail to achieve their goals, or people who have never been able to make a balanced goal happen. People, again, like me, I've never succeeded at a goal that is a challenge, because I don't know what's a reasonable challenge. Something that is... So I either end up making goals that are something that I can expect to do, like share 48 stories on nopoodles.wordpress.com, and stuff that I'm not gonna like forcibly hold myself to, which I see a lot of people doing with their goals, where they kind of forcibly hold themselves to it, and if they don't succeed at the goal, that's a failure. And it's like, for me, I just don't want to view anything as a failure. Like, if I put in effort to do something, it's a win. The effort is the point, right? But people, especially like with the whole idea of a SMART goal, where it's, I don't remember what any of those mean. I know that the second one, the M, is for measurable, and therein lies a big problem, because you can't measure what effort you're putting in, except it turns out you can. Because for me, I've been running this sticker chart, and my sticker chart is, if you don't know what my sticker chart is, my sticker chart was a challenge I set myself in 2024. Maybe a goal, maybe a challenge, I don't know. But it was something I set myself for 2024. The aim, the purpose was, and I have talked about this before, I made a video about 6 months ago. I think I called it like, how do I work on multiple projects, or something like that. Either way, I'm holding up this planner and you can see some stickers. And I'm not ginger. Anyway, the purpose of the sticker chart was to try to calculate over the course of 2024 how many words I could write. How many words I was writing in an average day, in an average week, in an average month, over the course of the year. And therefore be able to make more appropriate, not even goals necessarily, but like timelines for myself. How long does it take me to finish a book, right? That was kind of the quandary, the question of 2024. How long does it take me to finish a book? And unfortunately, I did not discover the answer to that particular question. What I did discover is that you can give yourself a sticker for every 200 words. So star stickers are for book words, and I don't have heart stickers on this page. Star stickers are for book words, heart stickers are for short story words. And I calculated it, and so like if I got to 195 words, I didn't get a sticker. And if I got to 199 words, I gave myself a sticker. So the other thing that I started doing was when I got into rewrites for this beautiful baby, which is the next IPA book. When I got into rewrites for that, like heavy into rewrites, and my word count started dropping a little bit, I started giving myself rewrite stickers because I didn't want to feel like, because by that point, this is like November, right? And I didn't want to feel like I wasn't putting in the effort. Like, it didn't want it to look like there was nothing going on, especially on the days where I didn't get to add any words. Like some days when you're editing stuff, you take out a lot of words. Like I've deleted a whole scene from that printed draft already. And sometimes that's what happens. You lose out on the word count. So if you're calculating by word count, in editing, you might have a minus number. And like, how do you register the effort you've put in if your numbers are going down? And the answer is stickers, I guess. And that is also part of how I've been running the whole deal. Hang on, let me find that page again. So part of how I've been running the whole deal is I've been writing down on this side of my dated pages. So this is stuff that happened outside my control. And this is by and large, I mean, sometimes it's not, but this is by and large things that I did, so that I have a list. So that, like, for example, I can look at January 2024, just literally the first month. And I can see that in January 2024, I wrote 2,400 short story words, according to my calculations, and 6,000 book words. And then I can look at, I mean, in February I did worse, but like then I can look at March where I wrote 26,800 book words and 0 short story words. And I can be there like, what happened? What was the difference? And I can literally open to January and I can see exactly what I was doing. So what did I do on Monday the 8th? The first Monday I came back from holiday in January 2024, I formatted. Not the fighting kind. So yeah, that takes a lot of time. Formatting is the bane of my life. But that takes a lot of time, and you're not writing any new words, because that you should not be. When you're formatting a book, you should not be making any changes unless you see a missed full stop or a number 2 instead of a quotation mark. And like, there are other days where like I write down in here when I'm off sick. I write down in here when I have an appointment. Anything that might have an impact on what I've been writing or how I've been writing it gets to go in the thing. So that every time I'm there like, why did this change? What's going on? I can see what the impact was. Okay, I went to MCM Comic Con in May. What impact did that have? And the answer is, I wrote 0 short stories in May. To be fair, I shared a bunch of short stories. I'd written a bunch in advance. Woohoo. But I think I also missed some, which I can also check because I've kept a record of that. No, I actually shared a short story every single Thursday of May. which is wild because a lot of other times I missed the first week. I didn't share very many in April. I shared none in March. On purpose. That one wasn't an accident. But like, I can then see from that how pieces of life have impacted my writing. And I can see how this is shaping up into a larger picture that will allow me, even though I didn't actually finish any books in 2024, it will allow me to start gauging how long is it going to take me to write this book, especially if I keep going. So if I continue my whole sticker chart situation into 2025, which, spoiler alert, I have been doing. You know what, I'm going to show it off because I wasn't going to, but I changed my mind. I'm going to show it off because I want to. So I have here, yeah, we're good. This is my sticker chart so far for the year. So these ones are editing stickers. I have been registering here like how many chapters in little hash marks, and then this is where I wrote a whole extra page that I've slotted into that printed manuscript. This is some short story words, and like I'm doing all my maths, but I felt like I couldn't really see that, and it's not really as pleasing as a sticker, so I decided to put my rewrite stickers back in, because I'm adding a lot of words, and this is the thing, because I'm working in physical format now, in this editing thing, I am still adding a lot of words, but I just don't know how many they are, because they're going on specifically these sticky notes and getting stuck in, or they're being written directly onto the manuscript. So I'm not going to stop every time I do it and count them. But I will be able to calculate once I've added it all in how the word count has changed from the version I printed into the version I'm about to type up once I finish going through it. So, continuing my sticker chart into 2025 and hopefully beyond, I don't know. Let me know if you'd like to see another video like this next year so that I can, and an update on what's going on with that. Or if you'd just like me to keep running my sticker chart on Instagram thing also, because I just want to make sure people are interested. Like, accountability and being public about this kind of stuff is really great because accountability is really useful. But like, if it's boring, you can totally just be there like, I mean, I didn't love it, and I'm not going to be offended. Like, I'm asking for your feedback. It's not fair to be offended by your feedback. Unless you're like actively mean. I think your hair looks stupid. That's not the kind of feedback I'm seeking right now. Also, yes, I do need to re-dye it if I'm going to re-dye it, which the plan is. I just haven't got around to going to the place that sells the dye yet. But I have roots now. They look really dark as well because the ginger's so pale, and it's like, I swear my hair did not look this dark when it was not being dyed. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But like, I haven't dyed my hair before that. There's such a tangent, I'm so sorry. I haven't dyed my hair before this since like 2018 was the last time I dyed my hair, and that was blue for my wedding because obviously. And it wasn't really, really blue, it was just a bit blue, it was like tinted. Blue, green and purple, because I wanted blue, green and purple hair for my wedding, and I think it looks really cool in the pictures, and I thought it looked really cool at the time. But I haven't dyed my hair since then, so like all the hair colour you've seen and pretty much all of my YouTube videos is just my natural hair colour. That's just what my hair looks like. This is very much fake. I just wanted to be ginger again. I haven't been ginger since like 2017. That was the last time I was ginger. I stopped dyeing my hair with henna. That's what I was doing back then. I was dyeing my hair with henna back in 2017, and I stopped doing that because I wanted to stop having to sit through the smell of the henna, and henna takes a long time as well to dye your hair, and because sometimes tattoo artists don't like it if you've had henna hair dye lately, and I was wanting to get my pocket watch tattoo, which I've now built on top of. I'm going to be putting extras here as well. There's going to be a new one soon. And by soon, I mean sometime in the next 2 years, which is not that soon. Anyway. So, how many words did I write in 2024, right? That's the real question here. How many words did I write and what does that mean? So in 2024, according to my rounding down to the nearest 200 and counting stickers, which is not the most sensible way of calculating, but it's the way that I have, I wrote new words 217,400 words. And by my calculations, based on how many days I know I work, because I counted those two, that equates to 1,207 words a day. Now, I'm just going to reassure everyone here that some days I actually wrote a grand total of 0 words, and other days I wrote like 5,000 words. I did not sit at my desk. This desk. I did not sit at my desk every single day of 2024, every single work day of 2024, and pound out 1,000 words. Absolutely not. I know there are lots of people out there that can work like that. I'm not one of them. But my sticker chart did tell me that even on the days where I thought it was really hard work, every time I opened my document, I wrote more words. I am, however, running a business, so like sometimes I have to do business shit instead of writing shit, because that's how it works, unfortunately. Like not even just stuff like formatting, but like other business stuff has to get done instead of writing, and sometimes I don't get to open my document at all. And like I know there are people out there who recommend, and I highly recommend trying everything and deciding what works for you. But there are definitely people out there who are potentially going to see this and be there like, we should get your writing done first thing in the morning. Like, do it before you do anything else. And it's like, I didn't ask for advice. No, that doesn't work for me, because if I get started on writing first thing in the morning, that's all I'll do all day, which is a really nice problem to have a lot of the time. But when you do actually still have to get business stuff done, you do have to put in the time for it. So it's easier for me personally, with the way my brain works, to not even assign days, to like come down to my computer sometimes and be there like, man, I don't want to write, and do the other stuff in those moments. Because if I'm thinking, man, I don't want to write, what I mean is, this is the optimum time to do a tax spreadsheet. This is the optimum time to build a cover design. This is the optimum time to do any of the other things that are more boring business shit. So if I got 217,400 words in the course of a year, that's 4 books, right? Like that divides into about, is it 4? Was it 3? I can't even remember. That's 3 or 4 books, right? Depending on how long those books are. And my books are generally 50 to 70,000 words. I wish it was, but 60,000 of those were short story words. And also, I worked on 14 projects, which is too many. Even for me, that's a lot. So 2024, I decided was the year of gathering data, because I already had finished writing both of the books that I wanted to publish in 2024. And therefore, I didn't have this immense pressure weight that I put on myself of having to finish a book so that I could publish one in 2024. I now have that immense pressure weight of having to finish a book so I can publish one in 2025. But to be fair, I'm doing the omnibus this year. The omnibus collection is not that kind of dandy, so not the fainting kind and not the fighting kind. Those the other way around. And they're short stories collected into one edition. If I can find them money, because I'm doing a short print run of it instead of a print on demand. Well, it is still print on demand, but it's a whole complicated thing. I'm not going to get into it now because we've already been off on a tangent. But basically, I'm trying to make that work, but I need to find the cash to make it happen, because it costs money and I don't have that much. So I have that pressure again, but I have this IPA book that's in a printed editing stage, which is a stage that pops up regularly in my writing. And also, I mean, that's the other beautiful thing about the sticker chart, is that I keep being able to be there like, man, I feel so stuck, and like make notes about what I'm feeling like in my project. Like, I did it with 3 different projects. I got to a certain point about like anywhere between 10 and 20,000 words. And I was just like, man, I feel like I'm never going to finish this. I feel like it's the worst thing in the world. And I did that 3 times last year. And I'm like, I think that's just part of the process now. But anyway, because I worked on these 14 projects, I'm pretty sure I wrote more words than I would have if I was focusing on 1 or 2 projects, or, you know, my usual up to 5 projects. I feel like I wrote more words because I could go wherever I felt like. And now that I'm shutting that down again, I will be interested to see how different 2025 looks in word count, because I'm not aiming to hit that same word count goal. Like, this isn't what I'm doing. I'm not being there like, oh, well, now I know that I can write 217,400 words in a year. So my goal is to write 217,400 words in 2025. Or worse, one of those, oh, so my goal is to write 220,000. Yeah, 220,000. And round it up to the nearest bigger number. I'm not going to do that. Because, like I said, goals have been such a fraught and difficult thing for me in the past. It seems like a bad idea to try from 1 year's worth of data to start making some kind of goal. Like, the reason I feel secure and comfortable saying I can write 48 short stories in a year is because I have precedence of that. I have been doing that, or something close to it, since 2017, when I started posting. Well, actually, more like since 2018, which was the year after I started posting these short stories at all. I started posting in May 2017, and then in 2018, 2017 to 2018 was my first year. But if you count it for January, because I understand that is easier, January 2018 was the first year I started with these short stories in, and I managed one every single week. So, like, I know I can do it. I did it in 2018, I did it in 2019, I did it in 2020, I did it in 2021, I did it in 2022, I did it in 2023, and I did it in 2024, by and large, with some caveats and exceptions involved, including the fact that in 2024 I actually shared 74. Was it 74? Yep, 74 posts, including mostly short stories. Some of them were like compilation posts and roundups and that kind of thing. But even if you round that down, even if you assume that 4 of those were like compilations and roundups and that kind of thing, that's still 70 of them. And the reason it was 70 instead of 48 is because I wrote none in March and 31 in October for Wumptober, right? I don't know if I'm going to do Wumptober again or not. I'm going to look at the prompts and make decisions from there. I'm going to look at what I'm doing at the time and make decisions from there. But basically, because I did Wumptober, I wrote a lot more than usual. But I'm not aiming for 74 again this year. I'm aiming for 48 again, because that's the standard I know I can hold myself to. Just like I'm not, to be fair, I am aiming for more YouTube videos this year, because I'm aiming to do one every other week, with caveats and exceptions. Because I'm pretty sure I can manage that this year. Because I'm back to a steady and stable household in a way that I wasn't in 2022 and 2023, when I went down to just doing one a month. Because, you know, that's sort of how life goes sometimes. Is sometimes when things get unstable, stuff gets dropped off the bottom of the list. And like, that's the other thing that sort of seems to happen to me regularly, is that stuff happens in my life that I wasn't prepared for and that I had no way to be prepared for. So I then have to pivot and adjust really, really fast. And any big goals that I have immediately go out of the window, because it's so much easier to drop that and keep everything else going when something unexpected happens. So, yeah. What are my goals for 2025 then? Well, to keep going with my sticker chart, basically. That's the whole goal, is to keep going for the entirety of 2025, gathering this data about how many words I can write in a day, in a month, in a year. And then at the end of 2025, my plan is, or the beginning of 2026 really, my plan is to compare and contrast with 2024, see what happened, see what was different. Did I write more words? Did I write less words? And just look at it with the aim of a neutral lens. If it's less words, it's less words, but it's still words, you know? Like, the goal isn't to surpass what I did last year. And even if it's only like, I say only, this sounds like a big number, but you have to bear in mind it's over 365 days. Well, it's actually not over 365 days because I try not to write on the weekends. But like, this is my whole job, I'll remind you. I'm not doing this on top of a day job. This is my whole job. I don't have dependents. I'm not caring for anyone. This is my whole job. So like, even if it's only 100,000 words that I write in 2025, all that will mean is that something changed between 2024 and 2025 that has made this word count change. Okay, interesting. What does that mean? You know? And like, if you think about it, 100,000 words divided by 12 months is maths I can't do, and I can't use my phone as a calculator because I'm using it as a video camera right now. Okay. Imagine instead that it's 120,000. Then obviously that is that only 1,000 words per month? 10,000 words per month? I can't actually do that maths either. There's too many zeros. Working memory. I'm dyslexic. I really thought I could do that maths, but no. Not right now, not on camera. I could do that maths, but the pressure. Anyway. If 217,000 is 1,207 words per day. Yeah, my mentality is, even if the 217,400 is halved, then that equivalent number of words per month is half of the equivalent words per month that I have the number for right here, which is a slightly smaller number, and therefore it's about 9,000 words a month, right? Which is still a good number. And in a lot of these months, I didn't reach that. Like, my lowest number of total words in a month, combined short stories and book words, was 6,600, which is about 400 words a day equivalent, right? I actually did all of that maths. I did every single month's worth of word maths for how many days did I work and how many words would I have therefore written in that day if I wrote every day, right? The average. And that one was 400 words a day. 400 and something, but 400 words a day. That's still a win because it's more than 200 words, because that's the bar I hold myself to. That's why it's one sticker per 200 words. And I just... Sorry, there's a person that left my house in a fluorescent jacket. I thought they might be about to come to my door, but they didn't. Anyway, so like even if I only got that, even if I only managed 200 words a day, which is unlikely, but even if I only managed the equivalent of 200 words a day, every single work day of 2025, that would still be a win, right? That would still be achieving the steady, continuing, bobbing along in my little boat that I'm aiming for here. And we come to the advice portion of the video. And I just want to make sure that, not even make sure, I just want to say really blatantly and plainly, the same way that I did on my Instagram and a little reel in the end of last year, that you don't have to be more productive in 2025 than you were in 2024. You don't have to keep aiming to be better and better and better than you were last year and the year before and the year before. Staying where you are is a perfectly reasonable thing to aim for. And like, I think even aiming not to be as productive or as impressive as you were last year because you want to prioritize something else is completely reasonable. Like, there's this idea, especially in like indie author communities and author communities in general, but particularly in indie author communities, and writing community, actually, yeah, by and large writing communities, but especially indie author communities, there's this idea that you have to keep getting better, that your numbers have to keep getting bigger, whatever those numbers happen to be. So whether it's your word count numbers or your income numbers or your follower count or whatever, there's this idea, and it's everywhere, but mostly books, that you have to somehow have bigger numbers than you had last year. And the thing is, that's just not true. It's not true. It's not the reality. It's based in, I don't want to be like super anti-capitalist right now, but it is based in capitalism. The idea is of endless expansion, which is what that is rooted in capitalism, and it's not a sustainable practice. And I don't just mean that from again, I'm not trying to specifically spout anti-capitalist ideas here and now, right now, because that's not what this is all about. I just don't want people to feel like they have to hold themselves to this better and better mindset. And I don't want people to go away thinking that they have to get to 217,400 words this year, or that if they only got to 400 words last year, it's not enough. Any words are good. Like, I think it's really important to remember that you have to balance not just your writing, but everything else going on in your life, including the things that you don't necessarily think about, including the things that you would never consider putting on your goal list potentially. Like, interpersonal relationships generally don't make it to people's goal list because A, it feels a bit weird, and B, it's not something that's easy to measure, right? How do you measure interpersonal relationships? Well, I might measure it in whether I have D&D every week, because that's most of how I see my friends, is we play D&D pretty much every week. And some weeks we just can't find the time to all get together. Like, we all have lives, things are busy, people have stuff to do. Some of my friends work on shifts, others of them work 9 to 5s. I do this. And like, it means that sometimes we can't get together, but we aim to be together to play D&D every week. Am I going to put that on a goal list? No, that sounds absurd. But it is still something that's important to me, and it's something that I will prioritize. I don't want people to pick this like productivity over health either. Like, again, this is what I said in that Instagram video. I don't want you to forget that health outcomes are important. And I think it's, again, very easy to feel like it's hard or impossible to make a health-based goal, because it is very difficult, because most goals are measured in numbers. And I don't think that it's necessarily fair. Like, you could absolutely be there like, I want to work out 1 hour every other day, or like 3 hours a week total, or whatever. You could definitely measure it some way like that. That's not a personal worth measurement, like size, shape, weight, whatever. I don't think measuring size, shape, weight, whatever is a good idea, but that's just my personal opinion. But like, you could measure it in time, or you could measure it in like didn't. Like, did I go out with the dog today? Did I not? Did I go out for a run today? Did I not? Did I do some stretches when I got up today, or did I not? Or you might not want to put that as a goal because you just might not want to. And I don't think that, or like, it could be, again, a maintenance thing. Maybe you've been going out with the dog every day for the last, how long have we had Porthos now? Since 2021. 3 years. for the last 3 years. You might have been going out with the dog every single day. And therefore it doesn't feel like a goal to keep going and keep doing that. It feels like just a continuation of what you've been doing. And I think that people forget that those things are important, and those things are things to continue, and to not forget when you're building a goal. I know you've probably already done all of your goals for 2025 by now, because this is a week later than I intended it to be. But, you know, I was sick and I'm kind of chill about that. Like, does it kind of mess up some of my plans? Yeah, for sure it does. Now I have a YouTube video coming out in a really inopportune moment where I don't, like, it's a time where I planned to have a holiday. So I can either skip that week or fiddle with it, or I can just let it come out and not do a lot around it. I don't know. I'll figure it out, because in the grand scheme of things, stuff happens and you just have to roll with it. Like, adjust, adapt. And yeah, like, I just want it to be really clear that I'm not saying you should have 217,000 words, because I'm not even holding myself to that. I'm saying this is what I did last year. Like, I have this whole sheet in the front of my 2024 planner where I listed all of my achievements in pretty format. Isn't that nice? And like, I love doing that. I keep a running tally of them. I keep, like, that started its life as this sticky note where I write it down in the sticky notes at the end of the year or at the beginning of the next year. I could make the pretty version of it and space it out properly, because I know exactly what I'm trying to list. And, like, I'm going to do that again in 2025. I love doing that, because it's not a goal, it's an achievement. And it's reminding myself that continuing to do stuff, like keeping going, is still really important. Like, if you're training to run a marathon, or I've never run a marathon, if you're training to run a 5K for charity, which I have done and I can't do anymore, because I am disabled now, although I was then, but more disabled now. If you're training to run a 5K for charity, by and large, you don't start running and then run until you get tired and then stop and then do it again the next day and the next day. By and large, you make a plan, and the plan involves run, walk. Or at least it was the system when I was learning how to do running long distances. So you do run, walk, and you run not until you get tired, but until you feel really good, and then you walk for a bit, and then you will still have the energy to run a bit more. And that is something I don't think we put enough stock in when we're building goals, or when we're planning goals and hoping for things to improve this year. I think a lot of the time it's easy to imagine yourself becoming this idealized version, but I also think that we don't plan the time to walk. And I think we should. I don't know. It's become a treatise now, and I'm going to stop talking because I've been talking for a really long time. I tried really hard to make this video not as absurdly long, and clearly I failed, because I filmed it on Monday, but I was still really croaky from tonsillitis, and I ended up talking for over an hour. So at least it's less than an hour. I am going to stop now. As always, if you want to find my books, my social media presence, or my free short stories, they're all available via the links in the description box below. Right next to the like and subscribe buttons if you feel like sticking around. And please do let me know what you would like to see from me this year, if there's anything particular on your mind. If you want to see this kind of video again next year, hopefully slightly earlier. And I will obviously be updating here and everywhere else, including my mailing list, which is where you mostly get to hear things first, about what's going on with the omnibus. Am I bringing out any more specific books? Do I have any more specific release plans for this year? As and when they happen, whether I'm going to events, all that jazz will be updated as and when I have the information. And I have a list of YouTube video plans already, but seriously, please do let me know if there's anything specific you'd like to see, even if it's like an update to something that I've shared previously. Like, obviously I'm going to be sharing my works in progress video again this year, where I'll be talking about some of the stuff, but like, that's the only one I can think of that I do every year. Other than accidentally doing a Plot Bunny one every year, which I do as well, apparently. Not on purpose, that's by happenstance. Anyway, please do let me know if there's anything specific you would like to see, and I will be back in 2 weeks' time. Bye.